In the glittering courts of medieval France, scandal was never far from the throne. But few tales were as shocking or as tragic as that of Blanche of Burgundy. The year was the early 1300s, just before the 100 Years' War. Blanche, daughter of the powerful Count of Burgundy, was married to Charles IV of France. As queen, she was expected to embody loyalty, grace, and purity. But one fateful gift destroyed everything. Her sister-in-law presented Blanche with a beautiful, ornate purse, a simple token of affection. Yet Blanche passed this purse on to her secret lover, a young Norman knight, and it was this knight's pride that doomed them both. At a royal feast, he wore the purse openly at his belt, flaunting the forbidden bond between them. The court gasped, whispers turned to accusations, and soon Blanche of Burgundy was accused of the ultimate crime for a queen: adultery. What followed was humiliation, imprisonment, and the loss of her dignity. Her hair was shaved, her children taken, her reputation destroyed, and while Blanche's life was spared, her lover's fate was far more brutal. This is the dark scandal of Blanche of Burgundy. Blanche of Burgundy entered the French royal family with all the promise of power and prestige. Born into the influential House of Burgundy, she was destined to play a key role in France's turbulent politics. Her marriage to Charles, Count of La Marche, the man who would later ascend the throne as King Charles IV, was not born of love, but of strategy. For Charles, Blanche represented an alliance with one of the most powerful noble families in Europe. For Blanche, the union meant a crown and a place in the glittering courts of Paris. But court life was suffocating. Behind the golden velvet lay endless scrutiny. Every smile, every gesture, every word of a queen was watched and judged. Queens were not women, they were symbols, prisoners of expectations. Blanche, still young, for a time, their secret love remained hidden beneath the veil of courtly silence. The Norman knight cherished Blanche not only as his queen, but as his forbidden muse. Every stolen glance in the corridors of the palace, every whispered word behind tapestries, drew them deeper into dangerous intimacy. And then came the mistake. At a royal feast, before the eyes of France's most powerful nobles, the young knight dared to flaunt his devotion. Hanging from his belt was the coin purse, the very gift Blanche had passed to him. A gift that was never meant to be seen. In an instant, whispers rippled across the hall. What was a queen's private token doing at the waist of a knight? Faces turned pale, eyes widened in horror. The scandal had been laid bare, not by enemies, but by reckless pride. From that moment, there was no turning back. The lovers were no longer shadows in the dark, they were prey in the torchlight. The French court demanded blood, and it would have it. The verdict was swift and merciless. Blanche of Burgundy, once a queen wrapped in silks and jewels, now stood accused of the gravest of sins, adultery against the King of France. She was stripped not only of her dignity, but of everything that defined her royal life. Her children were taken from her arms. Her crown and titles were erased with a single decree. And then, in front of all who once bowed before her, she was subjected to the cruelest humiliation of all. Her head was shaved bare, the golden hair that once shimmered like a crown torn away in shame. From the splendor of Burgundy to the darkness of a prison cell, Blanche's fall was absolute. The stone walls echoed with silence, as if the court itself had erased her from memory. But outside those walls, her name lived on not as a queen, but as a warning. In the eyes of France, Blanche was no longer royalty. She was a traitor to her king, a fallen woman, a symbol of disgrace. If Blanche's punishment was humiliation, her lover's fate was far more brutal. The young Norman knight, whose only crime was loving a queen, was dragged from the shadows of the court into the merciless light of judgment. He was branded not as a lover, but as a traitor. The whispers of romance turned to shouts of treason. His hands, once strong enough to carry a sword in the king's service, were now bound in iron chains. There would be no mercy. The court decreed death. And so, before the eyes of nobles and peasants alike, the knight met his tragic end. Some say his execution was swift. Others whisper it was cruel and drawn out, designed to make an example of him. What is certain is that his blood stained the ground, while Blanche languished in her prison cell, forced to live with the memory of his death. Their love, born in secrecy and ended in fire, became a tale passed down for generations of forbidden romance that toppled a queen and condemned a knight to die. And so, the story of Blanche of Burgundy comes to an end. A queen humiliated, a child taken, and a lover executed in blood. History remembers her, not for her crown, but for her scandal. It is a reminder that in the courts of medieval Europe, love could be as dangerous as treason, and passion could lead to ruin. If you enjoyed this journey into the darker corners of history, don't forget to subscribe, and join us for more forgotten stories of kings, queens, and the secrets they tried to bury. This was Dark Historia, where the past is never silent.